It is very important to get mortgage advice that you can count on. Hi, my name is Randy Flood, and I'm the only certified mortgage coach in the state of Colorado. I've been originating FHA mortgages for over 13 years, and even other loan officers call me all the time and wanting to know how to get them approved. However, one of the biggest questions I get from individuals that have filed bankruptcy is whether or not they can get an FHA mortgage. So today I want to address applying for an FHA mortgage after bankruptcy. Before addressing this, I just want to let you know that if you filed bankruptcy, don't feel alone. Before these hard economic times, yes, there was a stigma, and people felt bad about themselves that they weren't able to pay their bills. But nowadays is commonplace. With all the layoffs, with unexpected medical bills, with divorces, there's a lot of reasons that people are filing bankruptcy, and it's almost expected, so don't feel bad. The good news is, yes, you can get a loan, FHA mortgage, after a bankruptcy, and these are the timelines. Now, we in the mortgage industry use automated system, and it's automated underwriting system, and we get two outcomes: approval, eligible, or accept, or we get a refer or manual underwrite. Typically, when you have a Chapter 7, which is where all your debt is forgiven, it has to be just discharged for at least 2 years. For a Chapter 13, where you're worked out a repayment plan, it has to be discharged for 2 years. What I typically see is it's going to receive a refer or have to be manually underwritten. And in this case, the bankruptcy for Chapter 7 has to be discharged for at least 3 years. And this is what I see the most. On a Chapter 13, it's got to be discharged at least 1 year, successful completion or participation in your repayment program, and you also have to get permission from the bankruptcy first before even applying for a loan. Since a lot of people that filed bankruptcy also had a short sale or foreclosure, just want to let you know from underwriting perspective and from credit, foreclosure and short sale are treated the same. For approval, an automated approval, you have to have at least 3 years since the foreclosure or short sale. For our manual underwrite, it's got to be discharged for 5 years, and this is what I see most often. Although FHA has very low underwriting standards or qualification standards, lenders have what's called overlays. They have stricter underwriting, and they do that for several reasons. First of all, they want to reduce their risk. Secondly, is they don't want to buy back the loan. Although FHA requires at least a 580 credit score, most lenders require a 640 middle score. There's a few lenders out there that will still do it at 620. Now, you also have to reestablish your credit. Get 2 or 3 trade lines to include an installment loan. Keep a clean credit history. You don't want to have any 30, 60, or 90-day lates, and you definitely don't want to have any judgments or collections. And if you do, you got to have a letter of explanation. And any court-ordered judgments got to be paid off. No ifs, ands, or buts. So just don't even go there. Now, collections vary by lenders, and medical is usually disregarded by most lenders because they realize that life happens. However, on consumer collections, some lenders will even allow $2,000 to $3,000 to be unpaid and still be able to get an FHA mortgage. You definitely don't want to owe the government. So in other words, you can't have a defaulted VA loan, defaulted student loans, SBA loans, or be behind on your federal taxes. That's what I see most often. And you also can't have a lien that's been placed on a previous property, like from the HOA, from homeowners association, or some remodeling company. Now, they will verify the last 12 months of your rental payment, and they'll do this by cancel checks, or they will call the landlord to make sure that you've been paying on time. Now, usually the maximum debt to income ratio is 45%. What do I mean by this? If you take all your liabilities and they cannot be more than 45% of your gross income. And this is still pretty liberal. Now, I recommend, when people are applying for an FHA mortgage or any mortgage, do not let anybody pull your credit. The reason for that, any inquiries, we have to address the purpose and the outcome. What a lot of people overlook, but is very, very important, is compensating factors. These are things that you can do to help improve the likelihood of getting approved for your FHA mortgage. First of all, if you're a W-2 employee, in other words, you're on a salary or you're a wage earner, it's much easier than if you're self-employed or commission only. Also, although FHA requires a minimum of 2 years work experience in the same profession, it is a lot better if you've been working for the same employer for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. This just strengthens your file. Also, plenty of assets and reserves. Start savings. Put money in checking, savings, your 401k or your individual retirement account. Now, if you have higher credit scores, that will definitely help. Would like to have above 680, 700 or above is even better. And this is very doable, since if you had a Chapter 7, most of your debt has been eliminated, so it's easier to get those higher scores. Now, FHA requires a minimum of 3.5% down. However, if you go on and increase it, that will improve the chances of getting a loan, FHA mortgage. And you can do this also with a gift from your relative. And also you can borrow from your 401k. These are two sources that are frequently overlooked, and they don't have to be seasoned. My recommendations to you: make a commitment now to plan and start rebuilding your credit. Establish the 2 or 3 accounts. Don't take on additional debt, especially not a large car payment. Unfortunately, I see this a lot where people have car payments of $400, $500, $600 or even $700, and that's ridiculous. That's almost like a mortgage payment, so don't do that. Start saving, building up the reserves so you can have plenty of money to make your payments and also for your down payment. And I can't overemphasize this: choose wisely who your mortgage broker is, because until recently, the majority of the loan mortgage brokers out there did primarily conventional loans. They were a lot easier to do. There were a lot less paperwork and a lot less hassle. And I've been doing them for, as I mentioned, for over 13 years. Now, if you feel like this, I totally understand, but I'll walk you through the entire process. It is a great time to buy. Property values are extremely low. Interest rates are at all-time lows. Sellers are wanting and are giving huge sellers concessions, which will be able to help you with all your closing costs. And if you continue to rent, that's the same thing as throwing money down the drain, and you don't want to do that. So get your FHA mortgage now and start building wealth. Again, my name is Randy Flood. I can only originate loans in Colorado. However, if you're elsewhere, I know other top producers across the country that will be willing to help you. And I'm available 24/7. You can just call me or you can email me at randy@yesyoucangetalone.com. And it is important to get the mortgage advice that you can count on. Now, if you like this information, please click the like button below, and also share it with your friends, family members, co-workers, because they too could benefit from this vital information. And as always, only wanting the best for you. Take care.